Good evening and welcome to Art Talks on the Lawn at AIM Dance Summerfest 2023. And we are privileged and honored to have Joel Grothe, Associate Professor of Theater and the Chair of the Department of Theater and Dance with us this evening. And we're gonna talk a little bit about the partnership between Lamar University and AIM Dance and kind of how Summerfest came to be and how our hosting sponsor feels about this festival, right? So let's start with you telling our audience a little bit about yourself and about Lamar, what you feel is Lamar University's role in this festival.
Well, thank you. I've been at Lamar since 2009, and I've been department chair. I was interim chair for a year, and so I'll be starting a 3-year term as chair. And I'm a professional actor, director, and mostly in theater, but I've done some film and TV and a lot of voiceover work and things like that. And we're really honored to have Summerfest as something that we offer, and it's kind of a quiet time on campus, so it's one of the only things that's going on. The things that we focus on in theater and dance are what are our faculty and our students good at. And so when Amy Elizabeth joined our faculty, she brought AIM Dance with her. And prior to Summerfest, we hosted some events. She does a winter intensive on campus. And we really want to focus on that because that's how we find our niche. That's how we find, you know, sort of our presence, our place in the creative community. And Amy Elizabeth brings this AIM Dance experience, this contemporary dance experience, which is unique to the region. And so this is the second year we're trying it out, and we're really just trying to emphasize that and show the, you know, what that can be as part of all the arts in this community. Coming from a theater background, we were interested in what our faculty can do. And so the same thing is true in dance. Dance is not my area of expertise, but I'm interested in what Amy brings as a contemporary choreographer, as a modern teacher. We've really sort of moved our program towards an emphasis in modern dance and contemporary dance. And, you know, a lot of the classical training is really important. And because we are a department of theater and dance, there are different components, and this is stuff you don't get in other programs. So you have to, as a dancer, you have to take acting 1. You got to take some tech and design classes. And as an actor, you have to take number 1 first class semester in is modern dance, which is a huge challenge for them, but is really, really worthwhile just because of the physicality, what they learn how to move. And then they take ballet and they take some other dance classes. And so we sort of have a number of different emphasis areas in our program, but people can specialize beyond that, but they do have to take some fundamentals. And we do have to understand that there is some things that are fundamentally true about theater and dance that are integrated, and it's how we work together in various ways. So in other aspects, our tech and design students usually work on the dance concert. And so we find different ways to integrate the degree, but still specialize. And so for us, again, it comes back to, I'm gonna brag about some of my theater people for just a second. Alan Brinks, Assistant Professor of Theater, is starring tonight at the Houston Shakespeare Festival as Macbeth, in Macbeth. And so he's doing great work, and that's kind of what he does. And Lee Barker, our Assistant Professor of Design, is working on a show at the Match in Houston as well at the moment. And so we all have different areas of things that we're good at. And this is what Amy brings. And it's unique, and it's been recognized in the Houston area as, you know, very specific in terms of what Amy is able to create. And so we're happy to bring it here. And I think it's something different for our community to be experienced.
Yeah. So as the chair of the department and as a professor yourself, what do you, or how do you feel that this impacts the students themselves? I mean, as you mentioned, a lot of our theater students work on the dance concert, and AIM Dance does have a young professionals production team. And so a lot of these interns come from the Department of Theater and Dance, because it is, I mean, it's right here in their back door. And so we actually have some alumni. Our stage manager, production manager is an alumni from the program, working full-time in Houston right now. Our lighting designer is an alumni from the Theater and Dance Department, working in Houston right now. A lot of our volunteers are current and recent students. So what do you think is one of the, or can you talk to the benefits of having Summerfest on campus directly to the student body, current, past, and future?
Sure. Well, I think it's a diverse experience, and it's something you don't get necessarily, even if you're in a Department of Theater and Dance. You may only get theater classes, you kind of see the dance people, depending on how big the program is, things like that. But when you have to work in very different mediums, you become a better creative problem solver. And so you start to understand whether it's storytelling, whether it's narrative. I mean, when I think about dance, I don't really think about it that way. I'm more about the experience. And I do feel that way a lot of times about a play, even though there's generally a story to it. But I think that when there's so much exposure to so many different things, students see a broader perspective, and they're able to kind of adapt, adjust, move on, understand things in a way that, in a more traditional setting, maybe you can't. And I would say, again, I'm not an experienced person in dance, but when it comes to modern dance in terms of a through line or storytelling or narrative, it's, in my opinion, maybe the most abstract at times. And so for them to understand that it's an experience, what is the audience getting? How does the audience feel about it? Things like that. And they get to work with a lot of people who work in different mediums, and so they get a lot of different voices who come in, and whether it's a guest artist in dance, guest artist in theater, they have different approaches. And we do a lot of, you and I have collaborated. We did a production together a couple of years ago. Amy choreographed Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime about 5 years ago too. And so we've done a lot of interdisciplinary work, and it really, to me, it comes back to that word integration. It's this idea of, it can all be different. Everybody's making a different contribution, but how do we make something together?
Yeah. So then, speaking to Lamar University and the department's role within the community, can you speak to kind of your goals or your hopes of how we can find that integration a little bit more with the community themselves?
Sure.
Or what the community could get from this experience?
Well, we want to be, Lamar's an access university, and that means that in terms of enrollment, there's things that we do to try to get kids in school that maybe some other institutions, some peer institutions are not willing to do. And we put a lot of effort into retention, financial aid, things like that to get people in school. But at the same time, this is, as an event, it's a bit different for the community, and so we want to make it accessible for them too. And that's something to talk about in terms of the future of how we want to make people feel welcome on campus, because it is sometimes, we're in a part of town people don't always want to come to. Joe, you live just around the corner, but not everybody, people who live on the West End don't want to come down here necessarily at night. And we really want to make our facilities and our events accessible. And we want to collaborate as best we can with different institutions within the community who, are like-minded. This is a bit different from, in my experience, from what a lot of the dance studios are doing and things like that. But we want to find ways, again, that's another form of integration, is how do we showcase, how do we work together, how do we support each other? And, that's important to us, and that's important to the fine arts, I think, in the whole region.
Yes, so I think to wrap this up, thank you Joel Grothe and the Department of Theater and Dance for hosting this event. Without you, your partnership, and the department's support, this would not be possible. And on that note, a quick little thank you to some of our other local sponsors, the Beaumont Convention and Visitors Bureau, MCM Elegante, Southeast Texas Arts Council,
Joshua Productions.
Thank you,
Look,
Joshua Productions. Yes, logo is right in my face. Thank you for coming in and capturing all of this. And thank you to all of the audience that has been able to participate with us thus far. It has been a pleasure to get to know you and for you to get to know us. And as I say in all of our productions, number one, thank you for choosing dance. Number two, thank you for choosing us.